Did you know that nearly 99% of the deaths that occur in individuals over the age of 75 can be traced back to just a small handful of causes? It's a startling realization, and one that many people are unaware of. When we think about the idea of passing away later in life, it's easy to assume that death at an older age is simply a natural, inevitable part of the aging process. After all, time waits for no one, right? But the reality is much more complex. The truth is, most fatalities in older adults are the result of conditions and risks that are entirely avoidable. These risks, which are often ignored or not fully understood until it's too late, have the power to dramatically affect one's health. The problem lies in the fact that by the time these risks are recognized, the damage has often already been done. At that point, options are limited and it becomes harder to make a change. However, the key to changing this outcome is knowledge. If you understand the common dangers that seniors face, especially those over 75, you can take preventive measures to protect yourself, perhaps even extend your life far beyond what you might have thought possible. In this video, we are going to uncover and discuss the top 5 causes of death after 75. These are the factors responsible for nearly every fatality in this age group. While some of them may be quite obvious, others might surprise you. But one thing is absolutely certain. Knowing these dangers is the first critical step toward avoiding them. These are not just statistics we're talking about. These numbers represent real people, real lives, and real families who face decisions every day that could determine whether they live a long, fulfilling life or succumb to preventable health issues. By staying tuned until the end, you'll learn how these 5 causes are not inevitable. In fact, you have the power to significantly reduce your risk, maintain your independence for a longer period, and in some cases, add years or even decades to your life. The choices you make starting today can have a profound effect on how strong, active, and independent you remain in the years to come. Now, let's dive in and explore the first cause. Heart disease. It may come as no surprise, but heart disease remains the #1 cause of death among those over 75, and for good reason. However, what many people fail to realize is that they have far more control over heart disease than they might think. Your heart, like any other muscle in your body, is something that needs regular care to stay in top shape. When neglected, it weakens, which increases the risk of health complications. Unfortunately, heart disease doesn't always give obvious signs that trouble is brewing, and by the time you notice something is wrong, it may already be too late. It's common for people to dismiss early signs like shortness of breath, fatigue, or even slight discomfort in the chest as a normal part of aging. But these are in fact red flags, signaling that the heart may not be as strong as it once was. Ignoring these signs could lead to severe consequences down the road. The most significant risk factor for heart disease is high blood pressure. Over the years, the pressure from high blood pressure forces the arteries to endure more stress than they should. This gradually weakens them, making the heart work harder than necessary. The tricky part? Most of the time, high blood pressure doesn't present any symptoms until it's too late, until a heart attack or stroke occurs. This is why so many seniors are caught off guard when they suddenly find themselves in the hospital with a heart-related issue, wondering how they got there when they felt fine just days earlier. Diet plays an equally important role. Over the years, consuming processed foods, excess salt, and unhealthy fats takes a significant toll on the body. These substances clog up the arteries, reducing circulation and making it harder for the heart to do its job. But it's not just about cutting out unhealthy foods. It's about making sure your diet includes heart-healthy nutrients. The foods you eat fuel your body, and if your meals are lacking in vital nutrients, the damage happens faster than you might think. The lack of physical activity is another silent contributor to heart disease. The heart needs regular movement to stay strong. When we stop moving, our circulation slows down, our muscles weaken, and the heart doesn't get the workout it requires to stay fit. You don't have to be running marathons or doing high-intensity workouts to keep your heart healthy. But even simple activities like walking, stretching, or chair exercises can keep the heart pumping efficiently. The biggest misconception that people have is that heart disease is something you're simply born with, or that it's just something that happens as you age. They look at their family history and think, well, my parents had heart problems, so I guess I'm destined to have them too. But that's simply not the case. The truth is, the choices you make every single day, what you eat, how you move, how you manage stress, can have a profound impact on your heart health. One of the most empowering things you can do is recognize that you have the ability to shape your heart health. The actions you take now can determine how strong your heart remains for the years ahead. And the best time to start taking care of it is right now. Falls and injuries. Among the most overlooked and dangerous risks after 75, you'll find falls. They can happen in the blink of an eye, with no warning. It only takes one misstep, a moment of dizziness, or a slippery patch of floor to set off a chain reaction that can change your life forever. A fractured hip, a head injury, or even a seemingly minor bruise can spiral into something far more severe, ultimately resulting in life-threatening complications. What many don't realize is just how vulnerable they become as they age. Falls are one of the top causes of injury-related deaths in seniors, accounting for millions of emergency room visits each year. For many seniors, a single fall can lead to a steady decline in health that they never fully recover from. A hip fracture, for example, can confine you to a bed for months, robbing you of your independence and putting you at a much higher risk of infections and other complications. The most alarming part? Most people don't truly appreciate how vulnerable they are until it's too late. As we age, our sense of balance, muscle strength, and reaction times gradually decline. The trouble is, these changes happen so slowly that they often go unnoticed until a fall occurs. You may feel fine walking around your house, doing your daily tasks, but one day you reach for something or lose your balance, and gravity takes over. What once may have been a minor stumble can quickly turn into a catastrophic injury. Fear of falling becomes an even bigger problem. After one close call, many seniors start avoiding movement altogether. They stop taking walks, avoid stairs, and become hesitant to leave the safety of their homes. Unfortunately, this avoidance only makes things worse. As you stop moving, your muscles weaken, and the less active you are, the more likely you are to fall again. It's a vicious cycle that can quickly take away your independence and confidence. But here's the good news. Falls are not inevitable, and there are many simple ways to significantly reduce the risk of falling. Strengthening your legs and core muscles, improving your balance, and making adjustments to your home environment, like adding more lighting, securing slip-proof rugs, and installing sturdy handrails, can make a huge difference between staying active and independent or being sidelined by a life-changing injury. It's also essential to consider the role of medications. Many prescription drugs come with side effects such as dizziness, drowsiness, or changes in blood pressure, all of which can increase the likelihood of falling. If you've ever stood up too quickly and felt lightheaded, you know how important it is to be mindful of the effects your medications can have on your balance. Regular conversations with your doctor about your prescriptions and how they might impact your mobility could literally save your life. Preventing falls isn't just about avoiding physical hazards. It's about staying strong, staying active, and remaining aware of the risks. Taking the right precautions today can help ensure that you stay mobile, independent, and able to enjoy your life with greater peace of mind. Respiratory diseases. Breathing is something that most of us take for granted until, of course, it becomes difficult. As we age, our lungs don't function as efficiently as they once did, and even what seems like a mild respiratory issue can quickly escalate into something far more serious. What may start out as a simple cough or a shortness of breath can spiral into chronic conditions, severe infections, or even hospitalization. Respiratory diseases, in fact, become one of the leading causes of death after 75, not because they are unavoidable, but because they are often ignored or not taken seriously until it's too late. One of the most common respiratory issues for seniors is chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, which includes conditions such as emphysema and chronic bronchitis. Over time, the airways become inflamed and narrowed, making it harder and harder to breathe. Symptoms like frequent coughing, wheezing, or feeling winded after exertion are often dismissed as just getting older. But these are the early warning signs that your lungs need attention. Another major risk is pneumonia. While many people may brush it off as just another minor infection, for older adults, pneumonia is anything but ordinary. What might start as a mild cold or chest congestion can quickly turn into a life-threatening situation, as the body's ability to fight off infections weakens with age. In fact, many hospitalizations in older adults are caused by pneumonia, and in far too many cases, the infection leads to a rapid health decline that may not be recoverable. But it doesn't stop there. Poor air quality is also a major threat to lung health. Over the years, constant exposure to pollutants such as dust, secondhand smoke, and chemicals from various sources takes a heavy toll on your lungs. Even inside your home, things like mold, pet dander, and other indoor pollutants can worsen respiratory conditions without you even realizing it. For those already dealing with conditions like asthma or COPD, these irritants can make symptoms significantly worse, creating a downward spiral that leaves you even more vulnerable to respiratory infections. But there are simple, effective steps you can take to protect your lungs. Improving the air quality in your home by using air purifiers, removing pollutants, and avoiding exposure to secondhand smoke can help keep your lungs healthier for longer. Here's another often overlooked strategy: staying active. Just like any other part of the body, the lungs need exercise to remain strong. When you move, your lungs expand fully, helping clear out mucus and maintaining better lung function. On the other hand, when you stay sedentary for long periods, your lungs don't get the workout they need and their efficiency decreases. Even light activities like walking or stretching can help keep your lungs strong and functioning optimally. Another key strategy for protecting your respiratory health is getting the right vaccinations. Many seniors underestimate the importance of vaccines, but staying up to date on pneumonia, flu, and other respiratory vaccines can dramatically reduce the risk of severe infections. These simple precautions can prevent mild illnesses from turning into life-threatening conditions. Breathing should never feel like a struggle, but for far too many people over the age of 75, it does. Not because it's inevitable, but because they didn't act in time. Protecting your lungs with regular exercise, air quality improvements, and vaccinations can help ensure that your respiratory health remains strong and that you can continue to breathe easily for many years to come. Stroke. A stroke can happen in an instant, without any warning signs. The moment blood flow to the brain is disrupted, whether through a blockage or a burst blood vessel, the results can be catastrophic. Strokes remain one of the leading causes of death and long-term disability for people over 75. Yet, what most people don't realize is that up to 80% of strokes can be prevented. That means the lifestyle choices you make today could directly determine whether you remain independent or suffer the life-altering effects of stroke. Strokes occur when blood flow to the brain is suddenly interrupted. When this happens, brain cells begin to die within minutes. And the longer the brain is deprived of oxygen, the greater the damage. Some strokes are relatively small and only cause temporary confusion or minor weakness. However, other strokes can leave people paralyzed, unable to speak, or completely dependent on others. In many cases, a stroke can be fatal. One of the most significant risk factors for a stroke is high blood pressure. Over time, constant pressure on the arteries weakens them, making them more susceptible to ruptures or blockages. And just like heart disease, high blood pressure often shows no symptoms. So many people walk around unaware of the risk they face until a stroke suddenly occurs. Irregular heart rhythms, particularly atrial fibrillation, AFib, are another major cause of strokes. Many seniors experience AFib without even realizing it. When the heart beats irregularly, blood can pool and form clots. If one of those clots travels to the brain, it can cause a stroke within moments. The good news is that a simple checkup can reveal these issues early on. When detected, treatments and lifestyle changes can significantly reduce the risk of stroke. Healthy eating, staying active, and managing blood pressure are key to reducing stroke risk. And even small dietary changes, like cutting back on sodium or eating more leafy greens, can make a massive difference. Another critical piece of the puzzle is recognizing and responding to mini strokes, or transient ischemic attacks, TIAs. These are often referred to as warning strokes because they occur when the blood flow to the brain is temporarily blocked. TIAs typically cause symptoms like confusion, slurred speech, or sudden weakness that may resolve on their own. But don't ignore them. Seeking medical help immediately could prevent a full-blown stroke from occurring. Heart disease. Heart disease remains the #1 cause of death for people over 75, and yet many seniors are unaware of how their lifestyle choices are contributing to their heart health. The reality is that after 75, your heart and blood vessels undergo significant changes that make you more susceptible to cardiovascular issues, even if you've lived a relatively healthy life up until this point. High cholesterol, high blood pressure, and diabetes all increase your risk of heart disease. But so does the simple wear and tear on the heart muscle over time. It's important to understand that heart disease doesn't just refer to one condition, but rather a group of related issues that can lead to serious health problems. From clogged arteries to heart attacks, heart disease takes many forms, but they all have one thing in common. They threaten your ability to continue living an active and independent life. And as we age, the heart becomes less efficient and the risks multiply. One of the most dangerous risks of heart disease is that it often develops without obvious symptoms. You might feel fine, still enjoy your walks and daily activities, and not even realize that your arteries are slowly becoming clogged. It's not until you experience chest pain, shortness of breath, or even a heart attack that the underlying problem is discovered. By then, irreversible damage may have already been done. There are, however, plenty of ways to actively manage and prevent heart disease. Regular checkups are essential for tracking key markers of heart health: blood pressure, cholesterol levels, and blood sugar, and making adjustments before serious problems develop. A healthy diet that includes plenty of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and lean proteins is essential to keep your heart functioning well. Cutting back on salt, sugar, and processed foods can help keep your blood pressure and cholesterol levels in check. Exercise also plays a key role in heart health. It may feel harder to get moving as you age, but regular physical activity is one of the most effective ways to keep your heart strong and reduce the risk of cardiovascular problems. Even moderate exercises like walking, swimming, or light resistance training can make a huge difference. Stress management is another often overlooked factor in heart health. Chronic stress can elevate blood pressure and contribute to other heart disease risk factors, such as poor eating habits, lack of exercise, and sleep issues. Finding ways to relax, whether through meditation, spending time with loved ones, or pursuing a hobby, can help protect your heart. The good news is that, just like with strokes, heart disease is often preventable. By staying on top of your health with regular screenings, taking care of your body, and managing your risk factors, you can lower your chances of facing a heart-related crisis as you get older. Cancer. While cancer can strike at any age, the risk increases significantly as you get older. By the time you reach 75, your body has been exposed to years of environmental factors, genetics, and lifestyle habits that may contribute to the development of various cancers. The most common cancers in older adults include those of the breast, prostate, lung, and colon, but cancer can affect virtually any organ in the body. As we age, our cells become more susceptible to genetic mutations. Over time, these mutations can accumulate, leading to cancerous growths. For many seniors, the early stages of cancer can be hard to detect. Symptoms may be vague or attributed to normal aging processes. It's easy to dismiss things like persistent fatigue, unexplained weight loss, or changes in skin appearance. But these can be warning signs of something much more serious. Unfortunately, the earlier you catch cancer, the higher your chances of successful treatment. That's why it's essential to be vigilant and proactive about screenings and checkups. For instance, regular mammograms and colonoscopies can help detect cancers at their earliest and most treatable stages. Men over 75 should also consider prostate exams, and anyone with a history of smoking should be screened for lung cancer. Another aspect that can contribute to cancer risk is poor diet and lack of physical activity. A diet high in processed foods, red meats, and sugary snacks can increase your chances of developing cancer, while a healthy, balanced diet with plenty of antioxidants from fruits and vegetables can help protect against it. Exercise plays an equally important role. Being active can reduce your risk of several types of cancer and help your body recover more easily from treatment if needed. While genetics certainly play a role in cancer risk, your lifestyle choices can make a significant difference in how likely you are to develop the disease. Smoking, excessive alcohol consumption, and being overweight all increase cancer risk. And by addressing these factors, you could take a major step toward cancer prevention. A positive mindset and a supportive environment also play crucial roles. People with strong social networks and positive attitudes toward their health tend to have better outcomes when dealing with cancer. Staying connected to loved ones, staying informed, and maintaining a sense of hope can go a long way in both prevention and recovery. The key takeaway? Cancer is not a death sentence, especially if it's caught early. By living a healthy lifestyle, keeping up with screenings, and being vigilant about unusual changes in your body, you can dramatically reduce your risk and improve your chances of successful treatment. Cognitive decline and dementia. One of the most heartbreaking risks after 75 is the potential for cognitive decline or dementia. Dementia is not a single disease, but a term used to describe a variety of symptoms affecting memory, thinking, and social abilities severe enough to interfere with daily life. Alzheimer's disease is the most common form, but other types of dementia, like vascular dementia and Lewy body dementia, are also prevalent in older adults. The frightening reality is that cognitive decline and dementia are often progressive, meaning that once they begin, they tend to worsen over time. This can lead to a complete loss of independence, making even simple daily tasks like dressing, cooking, or remembering to take medications difficult or impossible. Dementia can also take an emotional toll on families, as they watch their loved ones become increasingly distant or confused. The exact causes of dementia are still not fully understood, but there are several risk factors that increase its likelihood. Genetics certainly plays a role, but lifestyle factors such as diet, exercise, and mental stimulation can also impact brain health. High blood pressure, diabetes, and high cholesterol are also linked to cognitive decline, as they damage the blood vessels that supply the brain with oxygen and nutrients. It's essential to take steps early to protect your brain health. Engaging in regular physical exercise has been shown to improve cognitive function and even slow the progression of dementia. Mental exercises, such as puzzles, reading, or learning a new skill, can help keep the brain sharp and may reduce the risk of cognitive decline. Another factor that often goes unnoticed is sleep. Poor sleep, or conditions like sleep apnea, can greatly impact cognitive function. Getting enough quality rest is essential for consolidating memories and maintaining brain health. If you're struggling with sleep, it's crucial to speak with a doctor, as sleep issues can be a warning sign of other underlying health conditions that could impact your cognitive abilities. A healthy diet is also vital for brain function. Foods rich in omega-3 fatty acids, antioxidants, and vitamins, such as those found in fish, leafy greens, and berries, have been shown to promote brain health. Additionally, managing stress, staying socially active, and maintaining strong relationships all play significant roles in reducing the risk of cognitive decline. Unfortunately, there's no guaranteed way to prevent dementia, but living a brain-healthy lifestyle can give you the best chance of maintaining your mental abilities well into old age. Early detection is also crucial. So if you or a loved one starts to experience memory issues or changes in behavior, it's important to consult with a healthcare provider as soon as possible. Osteoporosis and falls. As you age, the bones in your body become more fragile and prone to breaking, a condition known as osteoporosis. Osteoporosis occurs when bones lose density and strength, which can lead to fractures from even minor falls or accidents. By the age of 75, bone density has often declined to the point where everyday activities, like bending over or lifting light objects, can put you at risk for serious fracture. Fractures due to osteoporosis are especially dangerous because they can have long-term consequences, including a reduced quality of life, mobility issues, and even premature death. For instance, a hip fracture is one of the most common and most serious types of fractures in older adults. Recovering from such a break can be difficult, and in many cases, it can lead to permanent disability or a loss of independence. The primary cause of osteoporosis is the gradual loss of bone mass as you get older, particularly in postmenopausal women, but other factors can contribute. A lack of calcium and vitamin D in the diet, a sedentary lifestyle, smoking, and excessive alcohol consumption all increase the risk of developing osteoporosis. Additionally, certain medications, such as steroids, can weaken bones over time. Preventing osteoporosis and reducing the risk of falls requires a multifaceted approach. Weight-bearing exercises such as walking, dancing, and strength training can help strengthen bones and improve balance. A diet rich in calcium and vitamin D, found in dairy products, leafy greens, and fortified foods, can support bone health. In some cases, doctors may recommend supplements or medications to help slow bone loss. However, exercise alone isn't enough. Because falls are a major risk for older adults, it's essential to make your home environment safe. Simple modifications, such as removing tripping hazards, installing grab bars in bathrooms, and using non-slip rugs, can prevent accidents that might lead to fractures. Wearing sturdy shoes, using assistive devices if needed, and staying mindful of your surroundings can also reduce your risk of falling. If you do suffer a bone fracture or injury, prompt medical attention is crucial. It's important to get a proper diagnosis and treatment to ensure proper healing and rehabilitation, which can help you regain your strength and mobility as quickly as possible. Diabetes, especially type 2 diabetes, becomes increasingly common as you age. By 75, your body may become less efficient at processing insulin, which regulates blood sugar levels. As a result, older adults are at higher risk for developing diabetes or experiencing complications related to the disease. Type 2 diabetes occurs when the body becomes resistant to insulin or doesn't produce enough to keep blood sugar levels in check. High blood sugar can damage blood vessels and organs over time, leading to complications like heart disease, kidney failure, nerve damage, and vision problems. Many people with diabetes also experience symptoms such as fatigue, increased thirst, frequent urination, and slow healing wounds. But in some cases, the disease can be silent, progressing without obvious symptoms until it's too late. Managing diabetes is crucial for maintaining quality of life and preventing long-term complications. Regular monitoring of blood sugar levels is essential, as is maintaining a healthy diet that includes fiber-rich foods, lean proteins, and whole grains, while limiting processed sugars and refined carbohydrates. Exercise is also key, as it helps the body use insulin more effectively and reduces the risk of complications. In some cases, medication or insulin therapy may be necessary to manage diabetes. It's important to work closely with a healthcare provider to determine the best treatment plan for your specific needs. Regular checkups to monitor for potential complications, such as eye exams, foot checks, and kidney function tests, are essential for catching problems early. Prevention is just as important as management. Even if you don't have diabetes, making healthy lifestyle choices, such as maintaining a healthy weight, eating a balanced diet, staying active, and avoiding smoking, can help prevent or delay the onset of the disease. Vision and hearing loss. As you age, your senses, especially vision and hearing, tend to decline. By age 75, many people experience some degree of vision and/or hearing loss, which can significantly affect their ability to function independently and engage in daily activities. Vision problems can range from mild issues, like presbyopia, difficulty focusing on close objects, to more severe conditions, such as cataracts, macular degeneration, and glaucoma. Cataracts, which cause the lens of the eye to become cloudy, are particularly common in older adults and can lead to blurry vision, poor night vision, and glare sensitivity. Macular degeneration, which affects the central part of the retina, can result in a gradual loss of central vision, making tasks like reading or driving difficult. Glaucoma, often called the silent thief of sight, damages the optic nerve and can lead to permanent blindness if left untreated. Hearing loss is also widespread in older adults, often due to a combination of age-related changes in the ear, prolonged exposure to loud sounds, and other factors. The most common type of hearing loss in older adults is presbycusis, a gradual decline in hearing ability that affects the ability to hear high-pitched sounds. Hearing loss can be especially challenging because it can lead to social isolation, difficulty communicating, and, fortunately, many vision and hearing issues can be treated or managed with proper care. Regular eye exams are essential for detecting early signs of cataracts, glaucoma, and macular degeneration. If vision problems are diagnosed, corrective lenses, surgery, or other treatments can help restore or improve sight. In some cases, low vision aids, such as magnifying glasses or special lighting, can help seniors maintain their independence. For hearing loss, hearing aids can be a life-changing tool, as they amplify sounds and make it easier to communicate. Other assistive listening devices, like amplifiers for the TV or telephone, can also be helpful. In some cases, medical treatments or surgery may be necessary to address hearing loss caused by certain conditions, like ear infections or damage to the eardrum. Regular checkups with healthcare providers, particularly audiologists and ophthalmologists, are essential to keeping your senses sharp and ensuring that any potential issues are caught and treated early. Maintaining a healthy lifestyle that includes protecting your ears from loud noises and your eyes from excessive sun exposure can also help preserve these vital senses for as long as possible.